Let's ride with a Sunday night football recap. Brandon asked us last night, Justin Tucker, the greatest or best kicker of all time? I said, yeah, just like a fool. I barely saw Adam Vinatieri play. And number one, the Bengals starting 2-3 have a coach in Zach Taylor who is one of, if not the worst play caller in football. I have never seen a guy come in and basically try to replicate other offenses without the structure to build a good one. What great head coaches do with Jamar Chase, T. Higgins, Tyler Boyd in the slot, Joe Mixon, is elevate them. They make those guys hit another level. Last year, it wasn't dynamic schematics. It was just Joe Burrow throwing that thing up to Jamar Chase, who made crazy, ridiculous plays. I watch Zach Taylor try to replicate the Philly special, then the Andy Reid goal line, flip shuffle pass to the tight end, and just the overall schematics of his offense, X's and O's wise. The guy probably has almost as much of a clue of what he's doing as I do. I mean, it's the most poorly designed offense in football. Now, I'm not going to pretend to be a guru because I'm not a guru, but I have to say, with all the talent this Bengals team has to start 2-3, there is a clear issue here, and a little bit of it is Joe Burrow and the offensive line. But the biggest problem in Cincinnati has always been the head coach. It just has been. I'm going to head it over to you guys. The Bengals Super Bowl hangover, we all know, is real. Are the Bengals going to miss the playoffs?
Brandon, I'll let you take that one.
Well, again, when I look at the landscape of the AFC, they've got a lot of work to do. One thing I will say about the Bengals, this last game, their offense was just in the second half, 3 drives, 2 of them ended in 0 points. Zach Taylor, you got to take the field goal. You got to take the points late in games when the points are there. It goes back to the Ravens-Bills game. You just got to take the points when they're there. But one thing that's very a major positive for this Bengals team, their defense in second halves for this season have allowed 0 points or 0 touchdowns. 0 touchdowns. So that's elite type stuff right there from the Bengals. That's winning football. The thing that they have to correct is this offensive line problem. And like John said, Zach Taylor, I do think that, and I said this before on the show, the finger will be pointed at him because they have the talent on the paper, and for some reason it's not happening on the field. And I feel bad for Joe Burrow because it's just he's getting beat up and torn to shreds. The offense doesn't look the same as it did last year. I mean, Jamar Chase, where are you? Can we find you? I don't know. You know, it's not looking good. I think that they can sneak into the. I'll say they're still a playoff team. I won't go that far out. They're a playoff team still, though.
But in actuality, the more I look at their schedule, I'm seeing the tail end of it. All right, on December 4th, they take on the Chiefs. Then they take on the Browns. I don't know if that's the game where Deshaun Watson is back. Do you guys know what day he's supposed to be back?
He's back week 13. So
Okay.
December something.
Last week of November, I think.
Okay, so for this game, he'll be back. It will be Deshaun Watson versus Joe Burrow on December 11th. Then he goes against the Buccaneers. Then he goes into New England, which is no tough place to play in. Then he goes up against Buffalo and ends his season against the Ravens. I think if the Raiders can find a way to pull this out, Miami gets healthy with Tua, and whoever's going to be coming out of the AFC South, really, I wish no team could make it from that division, but that's just not how things work. There's actually a place, a world, in where the Bengals really don't make it. In some multiverse, Brandon, the Bengals do not make the playoffs, and this might actually be it. I don't want to jump on that train and say they won't be there because I do believe in Joe Burrow, Jamar Chase, T. Higgins, Mixon, and all those boys, but it's not looking great.
Honestly, probably best case scenario is that they do miss the playoffs, so Zach Taylor gets fired. If we're going to be completely honest,
Mm.
because if they make the playoffs, they're probably going to keep going with him. And if they miss the playoffs, somebody's got to get the boot.
Could you imagine what this team be doing with Brian Dable,
Yep.
Mike McDaniel? I hate to say this because I'm gonna do it with like half the league. It feels like because of how special those two young coaches are. But for the Bengals, for the Chargers, the guys top 5, top 6 quarterbacks already, an insane star talent around the roster. This is a prime example of a coach who shouldn't be here.